Good day, viewers. You are welcome to another special edition of Top Talk on OPC TV Standards Communication. This is a program whereby we'll be telling you about political, critical, and democratic issues that are happening in Nigeria and Africa as a whole. So today we'll be talking about things that the youths have asked for prior to this second phase of EndSARS protest. I'll be giving you about 26 of those things that the youth asked for, but when we come back, we'll be talking more about these things. Okay, you're welcome back, viewers. So today we are going to be talking about the youths and what they have been asking for from the federal government. Now, the first EndSARS protest, people might say, okay, to some extent, that the youths they did not give specific things of what they want. They were just shouting EndSARS, EndSARS, EndSARS. Now, this time they have brought out a 26 list of things that they want the federal government to do before, and they've given them a stipulated date. These youths are very serious now. So I'll be giving you the rundown of all the things that the youths have been asking for. So the first one, they said EndSARS, EndSARS. I know to some extent, and when we are talking about EndSARS, we are talking about the police brutality, bad governance is also part of it, and the normal EndSARS protest. So to some extent, these things are already depreciating. We are seeing almost little or nothing of things like that, even though it's not predominant in the big society, but we are no more seeing much of these things. So they also talked about lack of security, that they should sack security chiefs. You know, in our last program, I talked about these chiefs. I said these people are old already. They don't have new tactics. They don't know what they can do to ensure security in Nigeria. And they should just go so that fresh people and fresh minds can be able to come and do things properly in Nigeria. Security aids, just last week in my area, they shot somebody going to work early in the morning. You understand? Things like this is not supposed to be done. It's not supposed to be in this stage in Nigeria. It's not supposed to, this is not something that's supposed to be occurring every single time in Nigeria. This is Nigeria, for Christ's sake. We are not supposed to be going down and going backwards, to be going, things like this, they are just, so they've talked about improving security. They've talked about the insurgency. So number 4 stuff they talked about here was full deregulation of the oil and gas sector to allow more investments for job creation. Job creation is very, very paramount. Yes, most of the youth are unemployed, and it's not as if they don't have skills, they don't have talent. It's not as if they are not brilliant or they are not intelligent, but it's just that the system does not allow good job opportunities, enough of job opportunities. That's why you see people working aimlessly. They don't have things to do. These things, the youths now have put it down that they should be in the oil sector now. There should be deregulation, not that it should just be centered on just the federal government alone. So they have also asked for the immediate passage of the petroleum industry bill. This bill will allow proper accountability and transparency in the oil sector. It's not as if we'll be seeing all this marvelous corruption in the oil sector. So they've asked for an immediate passage of the petroleum industry bill. Also, full deregulation of power sector to allow investment capital flow to generate and transmit and also distribute more powers and create more jobs. It's also centered about jobs also. Jobs is very, very paramount. If you don't work, you cannot have money. That's just it. If you don't work, you cannot have money. If I'm not employed, I cannot feed myself. So these things, they have also asked for they've asked that petroleum prices should be enabled by free markets, free determination of prices. It should not be that the government is going to be imposing prices that, okay, today it will be 150 naira, tomorrow it will be 167, and these things are going to be growing and growing. They said they want a free market determination of price of oil prices, and it should be done almost immediately. Also, they said close of northern borders to stop the free entry of Fulani herdsmen and bandits. Don't forget, in the last program we talked about insurgency, we talked about the north, and we said one of the basic things that they need to do first is to first eradicate everybody from the north, the Borno, the Kaduna, all those, they should first remove people and they should first close those borders, because if you close those borders, these people cannot enter. They will not have where to enter. They don't want to fly. They cannot fly now. So there's always a solution to these problems. They have told the government that they should close the borders, because once you close the borders, at least that place will be safer for people to stay. The north is very, very hot now. People cannot just sleep with their two eyes closed. It's very, very hot now. So they also talked about inclusion of inclusive governments for all tribes and regions of Nigeria, with 50% youth in charge of governors. Will the federal government be able to? There are 50% youth in charge of government, and also inclusion of governments for all tribes. That is, whether you are Yoruba, you are Hausa, you are Igbo, regardless of where you are coming from, you should have a place in the government of Nigeria. You should have a place in deciding what is going to happen in Nigeria. They're talking about allocating more funds to the educational sector to provide better teaching tools and also pay for salaries to end ASUU strike. ASUU strike that is holding for more than, I think it's about 10 months now. 10 months now. ASUU strike is still holding, and they are still going back and forth on how much is going to be paid, what platform is going to be used to be paid. All these things, educational sector every year is not up to 2% of the Nigerians' budget, national budget, the yearly budget. The annual budget is just the educational sector is just as 2% of the annual budget, and it's not nice for a country that wants to grow its educational sector, for a country that wants to be well known as a reputable educational country, as a reputable place where people can study. You see the likes of South Africa now, 8 out of the 10 best universities in Africa. South Africa, the University of Johannesburg. All those, because they've invested into their educational sector. If they did not invest, they are not going to see results like that. They also asked for a change of academic curriculum to reflect modern day realities, still with this educational stuff. So all politicians should be placed on minimum wage to attract genuine public servants. I was just laughing when I saw this once. It's like minimum wage. When I'm talking about minimum wage, definitely they are not going to collect 100. They are not going to collect 100,000, and I'm not going to collect 200,000. So that one is a little bit. Will it work? We don't know if it's going to work. But if to some extent the youths are very, very serious with this thing, to some extent these things are going to work. They also said to return Nigeria to regional governance structure and restructure the country, and also embrace federalism. States autonomy must be paramount. When we are talking about federalism, we are talking about decentralization of the government, whereby the regions can also govern the people. This is what the youth also want. They also talk about immediate reform of the Nigerian police force and states the regions that has its own police service. So they have also talked about reforming the Nigerian police. We saw what happened with the NSAS, right? This whole protest started. So they've also talked about reforming the Nigerian police to stop police brutality, to stop the just consistent coming and just brutalizing people or eating people or beating people, uniform men beating people because they think, okay, they have power to do so. They also talked about stripping ex-governors and all elected and appointed public servants of all of their benefits after office. We have a particular situation whereby even after the governor or the president or any public servant has left the office, they still have benefits. They said they should strip them of all those, and they should increase the salary of the doctors, nurses, teachers, police, military officers, and civil servants. Then I come to this question and I ask myself, how come these things should even be listed here? These are important, integral parts of the country. We have the doctors, people that save lives, the nurses, also people that save lives, also that assist in the hospitals, the teachers. These are the bedrock of any fundamental, anything that is going to happen in the country, anything that is going to happen to a child. A teacher is an integral part of it. The police, the military officers, people that safeguard the nation. So I don't know why this is even there. If these things are not even supposed to even be there, the government should have the knowledge that, okay, these stuff, they are supposed to have been catered for, but sadly is here. They say the government should hands off ownership and management of businesses at all levels. I've seen points whereby the government, okay, this because they know, okay, this business is going, you know, they should allow private owners, to allow private businesses to be able to match up with these businesses that are in ground. Yeah, it's also talked about reduction of the senator salary from should be maximum to 1 million or 2 million, because it is foolish to pay 20 million and 30 million monthly salary when the poverty rate in the country is very, very high. We are talking about the minimum wage being 30,000 and you are paying some people 30 million. You know, these are human beings. It's not as if just because of the level of opportunity that they have, that's just the difference, and maybe a little bit lack of education. 20 million, 30 million, you are paying these people every month successfully, but there are some people that are supposed to be collecting just 30,000 naira and you can't still pay them. You know, it's really, really sad. So the youth has also put this thing as part of the things they want, and they have talked about giving accountability of all the funds and budgets being spent annually through media presentation for all the masses. Okay, so they've also talked about giving accountability for all funds and budgets that are spent annually through media presentation for the masses. We saw President Muhammadu Buhari during the COVID-19 time, just coming out once in a while to address the people. That's not the way it's supposed to be. He's the president of the country. He's even supposed to be coming out every day. We saw what Donald Trump did now. When Donald Trump was president, he came out virtually every day to answer questions. Not that you just come and give us live broadcast and you go back and go and sit down. That's not what the people want. They want a proper documentation of how things are being spent. Okay, so finally, talked about failure to fulfill the amendments of this list required by the NY and YDP. The president and his entire subordinates should tender their resignation letter through the media, TV, news, radio, and nationwide. I've seen this whole 26 list of things that the youth want, and I've not seen something that is above expectation or something that the government should not do. So if the government cannot do all these things, they should just tender their resignation. It's pure and simple. There is no two ways about it, because these are things that this is the right way to govern a country. This is the right way to preside over a country, and this is the best way for we Nigerians. Regardless of whatever outcome that this second wave of EndSARS protests, regardless of the outcome, I just want everybody to stay safe, and we should not do more than what we are supposed to do. We should go for, if we don't want another chaos like what happened in the first time, things should be done peacefully, and by the grace of God, we will achieve all what we want the government to help us do. Okay guys, thank you for watching our program. This is Top Talk on OPC TV Saunders Communication. Remember to stay safe. This is OPC TV. Bye-bye.